Welcome, 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 welcome. I'm Minister Peyton Moore. Today I'm going to be bringing you some good teaching today from our Maximize Manhood curriculum, the Maximize Manhood book. And I hope you all just enjoyed and take it, men, young men, uncles, nephews, pastors, ministers, just whoever you are, husbands, fathers, whoever you are, grandfathers. Listen at this. This may help you today. Today we're going to be starting on chapter 12, and today's title is Our Father Which Aren't Inactive. Our Father Which Aren't Inactive. Wow, very, 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 very good. Edward Lewis Cole was a great author, a great teacher, a great counselor, a great mentor, a great men's pastor, a great men's leader, worldwide known. I've been studying his books, I've taken the class, and I'm just very excited on being a teacher of it, a instructor, someone that can help mentor young men, old men, middle-aged men, because we don't got it all. We don't know it all. We don't quite got it yet. We're still learning. We're in the process. We're in the trenches. We're asking God to show us his wisdom and his word, his way, to be the men that he created us to be, because we were created in his image. So today we're going to be starting at chapter 12, and it's talking about our Father which art inactive. Men today and in the past, we have strived so hard to give our children things better than what we had. We want them to go forward. We want to see their future. We try to establish college funds. We try to establish jobs for them by connecting with people and helping, so they can help pull strings to get our children jobs. We try to pave the way for our children, no matter if it's our sons or our daughters. And sometimes when we do that, it can also damage them at the same time, because what ended up happening is that we start concentrating more on doing, and we start concentrating on giving them material things, which that at the end of the day really don't add up, because now what you're doing, you're substituting something for something else. And I'm not saying that we shouldn't give our children. I'm not saying that we shouldn't help them, but sometimes we let that be the controller of the life that we're providing for them. We let that be the controller for us saying, well, I did this and I did that. But it's one thing that we're forgetting to do as men. We're forgetting to be fathers, because nothing can substitute a father. Nothing can substitute our heavenly Father, which is God. The children need their earthly father, not a guardian angel, because God is their guardian angel. The children come equipped with a guardian angel as a standard feature. But we have to be real fathers on this earth and show them standards of what a father really is. It's not always about luxury items. And here's something that a father can do, which is the greatest thing a father can do in this world. Guess what? Love the children's mother. Husbands, love your wives. If you're not married, I understand. Love the children. Love their mother. Let them see that love. I always say this, and I had to learn this. If a woman is good enough for you to lay with, and she have a child for you, she's good enough for you to marry. If a woman is good enough to lay with you, men, she is good enough to marry. She had children for you. That was a great thing. You owe her that. You owe her that love. You owe her that quality time. You owe her that time in the life to help her with those children. Okay? Ed Cole was a very busy man, and he traveled a lot, and he ministered a lot, and he held positions, and his wife was raising the children. But he did notice a lot of things that was going on at home. When he would come home, he would see how his wife would just be under pressure, how she would be under stress, because she's dealing with 3 children. They had a boy and 2 girls, from my understanding. So once he began to notice things, he began to join heirs with his wife. He began to realize that she needed him to help her with the children. He learned to appreciate his wife instead of depreciating her. And once he started appreciating her, then the parenting skills became much easier, because now they're working together. They're working as a joint unit. And that's something that we must do. It's something that I had to learn. Now, I was married to my wife, my first wife, who I have my 2 daughters by. And we got married around 91, and we divorced in 97. So in between that, we had 2 girls, and in between those 2 girls, there was one that got aborted. God, I'm still asking you to forgive me for that. And I know you have, but it's just that child, I know that was part of me. Okay? And it's very important that you work together with the mother, whether you're married or you're divorced. Even if you're not married, you created a child out of fornication. Hey, that's not the child's problem. That's 2 adult problems that you need to work out and ask God forgiveness for. So, parenting is the greatest part of life when you have children. Parenting is still life's greatest art form, and we must understand that. And as I say, the greatest thing that you can do in the world is love the children mother. If you're married, let your children see the love shine. Let your children see you and your wife kiss on the cheek or peck on the lip. Let your children see you and your wife hug and hold hands, because a lot of children don't see that. Now, you don't let your children see anything that you do in the bedroom, but I'm just talking about an everyday normal holding hand, kiss, hugging, loving moment. Let your children see that, because a lot of children don't grow up seeing it. All they see is parents arguing, fighting, and abuse, and they don't hear the word forgiveness. I forgive you. They hear doors slamming, holes in walls, people walking out the house screaming and hollering. This is what a lot of our children hear. So as they grow up, this is something that they feel that, hey, that's normal. So now here they go into relationships thinking that that's normal. And there are some children that God have given them wisdom to understand, say, no. I don't want to be like my mom or my dad. I'm tired of that. I want something different. So God can keep our children in that way. Now, Ed Cole, like I say, he had 3 children. One name was Paul, one name was Lois, and one name was Joanne. Now, Paul had became the American leading Christian television network for one of the companies he was a producer. Now, when Paul was young, Paul wanted to go on a trip. His daddy told him no, and Paul put a hole in the wall. In the door, I believe, and he kind of got angry. I think that was a little provoking toward the child, and that was, Ed wanted to just go at him, but some reason Ed say, no, I can't do that, because at the end of the day, I'm going to provoke him to do something else. And then at the end of the day, you'll be both losers. It's the way we have to handle things. It's things that I've learned, that you have to handle things much differently. You got to let God come into your heart and into your mind, and you got to let God take control when it comes down to your children, because children can be very delicate. They already have these emotional roller coaster things going on, and they're dealing with, the bullying, and they're dealing with being peer pressured and a lot of things like that. So if Ed Cole and Paul would have got into that big argument, then both of them would have been losers. Now, I'm not saying don't ever discipline your children. It's a way to talk to them, and it's a way to discipline them. Okay? So we just got to ask God and let God educate us on that. Now, life and death are in decisions. Life and death are in our decisions. And it is in decision making, because we got to find solutions. Now, Ed Cole's daughter Lois, she passed the bar. She's a lawyer in Orange County, and she was a deputy district attorney. And, she was very smart, very intelligent. And it was a time when Ed Cole was very busy. He was traveling, he was ministering, and he was doing certain things, and he was not at home. The wife was raising the kids, and for 5 years, he had been president of this denominational layman's organization that it was about 5,000 men and about 4,000 boys under his care and leadership. That's a lot. That's a lot of responsibility. So Nancy was at home raising the kids while Ed was out ministering and counseling and mentoring and doing these speeches and these men's conferences and things like that. But somewhere along the way, before she graduated high school, her mother started noticing her attitude and her behavior has changed. She started hanging out with these unchristian like girls, because they was raised, Ed Cole children was raised up in a Christian home, and the mother was a Christian. So the mother started noticing that these Christian standards that her daughter had started getting away from by by being introduced with these other girls that she was with, she started noticing the attitude change, the behavior change, and negative things. So her and Ed Cole, Nancy and Ed Cole had to have a talk when he got back in town, and he realized, his eyes opened, wait a minute, I'm away, my wife raising the kids, they're going through some changes. I'm not here to take care and handle and be responsible as the father that I should be. So Ed Cole had to take some time and sit back and think about this and realize that, what? I need to resign from this position. I need to take another position to where I can be home more with my children, to be more of a full-time father than a part-time father. So he made that decision. His other daughter, Joanne, she was a missionary in Japan. She was also an English teacher and a Bible teacher as well. She graduated summa cum laude from her college, and she accepted God in her life, and she moved to Japan, and that's where she ministered at that time. Okay. So Ed Cole realized that, hey, it's time to wake up. It's time to slow down. It's time for me to make some transitions to something else to where I can be home. Sometimes we can get caught up in our work, and we can get caught up in certain things and forget about home. There was a time in life I was a DJ. I had a full-time job. I was a DJ. I was running a flea market, and I noticed that things were just kind of going fast, and I was DJing at a club as well, and I had my own DJ private service, and yeah, the money was good, but it was less time away from home. Okay, and that's not good. Even when I remarried, I noticed that there's a lot less time away from home. So I had to start realizing and figuring out, well, what do I need to do? What do I need to let go of? Is I'm hurting for money? Do I really need that much money, or what? Let's make some adjustments here. But God led me in a whole nother direction, and I thank Him for it. So Ed Cole realized that it was a time for change. His children needed him, his wife needed him, and like I say, he started to appreciate his wife more instead of depreciating her, because when you're not there to help her take care of the children, what you're doing, you're really depreciating her. Because she needs you to be the man of the house. She needs you to be the priest of the house. She needs you to be the leader. She needs you to you got to be the solution maker. Okay. He had a friend named Earl that he was with in Albany, Oregon. Okay. And Earl gave Ed a piece of wisdom about his children. Ed noticed something about Earl's children, their demeanor, their attitude, and their manner, and their spirit. You know, he thanked Earl for his great fathering skills that he did. You know, he said, I can't really take too much credit, he said humbly. He said, I learned a powerful truth from a couple that were with me in a missionary convention, and they had tremendous effects on my children. There are people that can have a tremendous effect on your children. There were people that was in my life that had a tremendous effect on me. You know, like I say, my great aunt raised me. My father gave me to my great aunt. I never had a relationship with my mother. When I did find out about her, she had passed away like in 2019. So I never had a chance to meet her. I finally met my two sisters. So that was a blessing. But there were people in my life that influenced me. They had they had something that they taught me. They gave me wisdom, and I took it in, and I took pieces of every person, and I just bottled it up and say, one day I'm gonna use this piece, one day I'm gonna use that piece, one day I'm gonna use this piece, and now here I am today, putting those puzzles together. So there are people that come into your life. There's an uncle, there's an aunt, there's a cousin. I'm talking about positive people. There's a church member. There was a mother of the church. There was a pastor. There was an elder. There was a deacon. There was a choir director. There were other musicians. There were ushers. There were just members in the congregation who influenced me, who had when a person influences someone, it can have a major factor over their life. I'm talking about in a positive way. Now let's talk about dinner time. Dinner hour is one of the most important hours in a child's life. You know why? That's when you have to put cell phones down, computers down, laptops, turn off the TV. It's time to sit down at the table. Dad, mom, children, everybody's focused on each other. I see people now, when they go out to eat with their wife or their wife and children, everybody got a cell phone. Ain't nobody paying attention to nobody. There's no conversation at the table. They don't say a prayer. And this is something that we got to get back to. It's saying the prayer before dinner. And let's go around the table. Husbands, ask your wife, darling, how is your day? Is it everything okay? Is anything that we need to talk about? Ask your children, how was your day? How was your day at school? What did you learn today? How your friends doing? Ask them how their friends are doing. You got to open up conversation. You got to open up communication. That's what you have to do. It's very important at dinner hour. That's the best time. Turn those TV off. Turn the TVs off. Turn the news off. Turn social media off. Turn Facebook, TikTok, internet. Turn all of Google and everything else off. Don't even be trying to check no emails, texts, or none of that. It's important time. Family quality time. You see, for some reason, the modern day father think being a father or a husband is all about paying the bills, providing home and education, allowing recreation, and ministering an occasional lecture in various times and varying degrees, being a disciplinary. That's not all it is. That's not it. It's the book is bigger than that, dude. A woman don't need you to pay her bills if she's a responsible woman. She don't need you to discipline the kids. She needs you to listen to her when you come home. That's what she needs you to do, and then we'll take it from there. Okay? So many men just got in their head, I'll pay all the bills. I'll do this, I'll do that, I'll do that. That makes me a man. No, it doesn't. That don't make you a man. Because without God in your life, you're not a man. You're not the real man that God called you to be. I'm sorry. Your manhood is not maximized. All right. Um, Here's something. It means thinking, studying, monitoring, recommending, influencing, and loving your children. Love is the desire to benefit others even at the expense of self because love desires to give. Lust desires to benefit self even at the expense of others because lust desires to get. Love gives. Lust gets. This is true in the home, business, and in every circumstance. Okay? So dinner time is one of the most important times to sit and talk because you know what? You can share hurts, you can share the pains, you can share the victories, you can share the blessings of the day. That's the greatness of communication. Take the opportunity to do that because this is what can happen. The thief comes only in order to steal, kill, and destroy. Much of television is like a thief. It steals time, it kills initiative, it destroys the relationships. Television become a home wrecker. It can be disturbing. It can, traumatize. It can. Instead, this is what we need to do, fathers. We need to give comfort and put truth in our children. Heal the hurt. Bring encouragement during those times. That's why dinner time is always important. Dinner time is always important. Make that quality time. Set that time. Quit this. I'm going to go in my man cave and the wife is in the bedroom and the kids is in their room doing their thing. That's not the way it operates. That's not the way it operates. Here's something that was said. Ed Cole talked about this. He was talking about the quality of time. He said, I made a tragic statement that the average American father only gives 3 minutes per day of quality time to his children. Only 3 minutes. Here's a man that stood up and said, American fathers doesn't give 3 minutes per day. They only give 35 seconds of undivided attention to his children each day. Wow. Ed Cole had to go back and rethink that. Wow. So how much time do he give his wife? How much time do he give his wife? In California school district, in Houston school district, in any school district, there's a high percentage of children that do not have fathers in the household. Do not have fathers in the household. Very high. Very high. The absentee father is the curse of our day because there's no leadership in the home. There's no one for the children to look up to. There's no one in the household with authority. There's no priest in the house. There's no leader in the house. So they have to look up to mother or whoever's raising them. That missing puzzle can always hurt. And like I say, I understand we may go through divorce, but you still have to be in your children's life, man. You still have to be there. Quality time is when the father eats together, prays together, share friends together, talk about things. The prayer that produces intimacy between a man and a woman does the same in the family. Always remember that. The man is the leader, leading his family in righteousness in his prime responsibility and priestly ministry. To abandon it for your personal pleasures, forfeited through moral cowardice, or to shrek it because of your irresponsibility is a sin. When you do not take the responsibility of taking care of your family, spending time with your family, and being there for your family, that's a sin. That's a sin. That is a sin. The father's noblest action is giving himself to his children, and first of all to God. The true legacy of the father is in the spirit he gives his children. Trust funds can never be a substitute for a fund to trust. I don't care what you give your children. There's no substitute. You have to be there. Active fathers who lead their children into a strong relationship with God and family maximize their own manhood. I hope you all enjoyed that message today. May God bless you and may God keep you.